Okay, here is what is now episode 3 of the official COMEX TV YouTube channel. If you followed me on any of the social networks today, you'd see that I finally announced, or at least showed the YouTube page. I set up a new channel, made up a little logo and such. I got the first 2 videos up there, and had people, I think I had about 12, 13 people now sign up following the channel, which is cool. So hopefully we'll grow that. And so, I'm not totally sure where the channel's going to end up. I want to keep making these videos, started doing them, like I said, basically, with the whole national shutdown with the pandemic and such. And, we all have more time in our hands at home, I guess. And it's something I've always wanted to do. I always thought it'd be cool to have my own YouTube channel. I just never, moved ahead and did it. But I got this new smartphone. It's a larger phone than the one I had before. And like I said, a lot of reasons for doing this. But anyway, here we go. What I'm going to talk about on the show, primarily, talk about my 2 favorite subjects, me and comics. But I'm going to basically talk about my work, what I'm working on currently, or any projects I'm working on, whether it's conventions or teaching or, lecturing, whatever. But mostly art, drawing, making comics and stories. That'll be the main focus. So I'll do a lot of videos like this where I just kind of grab some stuff off from bookshelves, and then we can look through it, whether it's my work, other people's work, or work that I've been picking up, or things I grew up with that inspired me. So it'll be a pretty good broad deep dive into me, my process, and my art. I'll try to figure out also how to do interviews, as far as how I'm going to set that up, whether there'll be audio, but if there's going to be any video link with somebody, or just audio recording. So we'll see how that works out. But I'd like to do some interviews with artists. In the past, I've hosted 3 podcasts over the years, all comic related, and I always enjoy doing those. And I think especially now, even more so, it'd be kind of neat to get a survey of different artists, cartoonists across the country, see how they're holding up, and also see what they're up to as art wise and career wise. So one of the things I'm definitely gonna, I'll go into this right here. If you don't know what this is actually the very first El Muerto comic from 1998. I only have about 5 or 6 of these physical copies left, believe it or not. So thought I'd pull this one out of the old vault. See the signature there? Even my signature is different, but it's from February 1998. So yeah, got a lot of story to talk about this in the days and weeks and months, maybe years to come on this channel. But yeah, we'll go over that later. I think I have one of these in my web shop. I don't know if anybody wants to drop $500 on a rare comic, but it's there if you need it. Some interesting effect. I used a toothbrush. You put ink on your toothbrush, and then you just flick it on the part of the art you want, and then you get that cool blood splattered effect. Oh, by the way, for those of you getting vertigo, I did order a what do you call those cell phone flexible arm holder things? So I'll eventually gonna have this camera stationary, although I do like to be able to zoom in on certain things. So we'll see, but definitely I think having it stationary is going to help. I might I'll probably do other videos where I'm actually sitting in front of the camera, you can actually see me. But I find this, since I want to be showing you stuff, I think this is a pretty good way to do it, just having you zoom in on what I'm looking at. So we'll talk about a lot of my other comics. I've done a lot of different comics, but El Muerto's obviously been the one, the like the thread through the last 22 years of me doing comics. I'll talk about some of the inspirations for El Muerto. This is I pulled this off my bookcase back in. So the first issue came out in '98, and I think so. I started kind of thinking about doing a comic probably around '94. Yeah, I think '94 I did the first sketches, but I had to research Day of the Dead. You know, you think nowadays it's so commonplace, right? Everything from, animated films to California Lottery scratcher cards, or, Day of the Dead stuff at the 99-cent store, Walmart, Target. But back in the mid-90s, at least in America, there wasn't too much material on these Day of the Dead festivals. So I found this at a bookstore uptown Whittier. I live in Whittier, so we call it Uptown Whittier, the central area there. But this was a helpful book, just reading about the custom of Day of the Dead and such. So anyway, that's part of the history of El Muerto, my research in history. So I'll talk about stuff like that. One thing that's going to be fun is to dig through my comic collection. This is actually my, the actual, I've rebought this one. But it's all dog-eared and ripped up, and I was looking through it. It's actually cut out some pictures out of the book. But this is one of the very first comics that I bought off the rack. 1975, Marvel Team Up, Spider-Man and the Human Torch. But yeah, when you're a kid, reading these comics and looking at all the ads, really is a big introduction to the art form of comics. But also, introduction to you being a obsessive fan, collector, what have you, and getting inspired to eventually, go make your own comics. So this is written by Bill Mantlo, drawn by Sal Buscema. Some of the legendary old standbys from my era in comics. Check it out. I cut out the Sandman's head because I used to have a notebook, and actually I still have that notebook. I used to just cut out artwork from the comics and put it in a notebook. So I'll have to share that one day. But yeah, I love this comic, all torn up and tattered and everything. Another thing I want to talk about, I also teach comics. I think I've mentioned that before. I've been teaching, I think, 15 years maybe now, 2003. Sorry for the camera there. Anyway, so this is a comic done recently with this organization. A friend of mine, Lewis, runs it. It's called Distal Arts, based here in Los Angeles. And they're like an art mentorship program. So anyway, we worked with the LA County Department of Mental Health. They wanted to put together a comic specifically for the Latino market, the Latino community, on seeking mental health and destigmatizing mental health. So Distal Arts, they organized everything as far as the location and recruiting the students and getting the supplies and, all the logistics. And I was hired as the lead instructor to teach this particular class. So what we'll do, I'll probably go over this book later in detail, but that's one of the things I'm going to do is, these are the list of the contributors, all the great students. They were ranging from teenage high schoolers to early college age. And of course, me and the co-instructor, Abraham, also contributed a comic. But it'll be fun to talk about, working with students all these years and teaching comics, and what do I learn from teaching, because I do learn a lot. I learn how to communicate better, but I also just learn from the students how they approach their work. So that'll be fun. Let me show you mine really quick. Here, who am I and why am I here? Existential crisis on infinite Earths. I kind of self-diagnosed myself as having existential anxiety, so maybe we'll share that with you guys later in one way or another. But there's our students. But yeah, talk about teaching comics, making comics, and What else? What else? Oh, one last thing too, really quick, because I don't want to make these videos too long. Actually, this one's going to be the longest of the three so far, but I guess every episode will get longer till we hit an hour. We'll see. This is a comic I did 2 years ago, 2018. So a lot of the stuff I'll talk about, because I got all this years of experience in making comics, talk about making comics, storytelling choices as far as being an artist, visual art, a writer, cover maybe some technical aspects. I mean, I don't know if I'll show digital coloring, because that's a whole nother process, getting that set up right on the computer and showing that. But I'll be open to answer any questions. That you guys send in about publishing and storytelling, mostly self-publishing, because that's what I do, and that people always have questions about that. Like, I'll get a question through, Facebook Messenger, Mr. Hernandez, how do I self-publish? It's like, yikes. Well, first of all, you got to narrow that question down, because that's such a huge, broad, that's a 3-month subject easily, how to self-publish. But if you have a specific question, I'll be happy to tackle it if I can. And, I want to make the channel informative. Definitely want to make it entertaining. That's the other thing too. Make it entertaining for people who are interested in, well, my work, but also comics in general, storytelling, art, a little bit of the business of comics, the marketing of comics, but really just storytelling, creative self-expression, and things like that. So that's what COMEX TV is going to be about. And like I said, I'm always willing to take questions, so you guys can email me through, either ask the question on the YouTube page under each video, or you can reach me through the various social. Obviously, if you're watching this video, you know one of my 3 social networks, right? Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook, or you might have my email. But yeah, let's make this a fun channel. Let's make it interactive if we can. But I'll do my part to keep it informative, interesting, inspirational, funny sometimes, and maybe we'll do some navel gazing once in a while. All right, guys? Thanks a lot. Bye.